delegation, and we met, I believe today, my colleagues met with the Irish delegation as well, and we have been writing to them.
Okay, let me, without becoming personal, do you have a sort of impression, having met the delegates here? Because lots of campaigners and NGOs come, and actually they never really get to meet their delegates. Do you have an impression of, I don't know, that they're taking you seriously, that they're listening, that they're hardworking, or are they just sitting in the cafe and having a coffee?
No, I think they can tell pretty quickly that we're working just as hard, if not harder than they are in many cases. And I think my impression so far, and our delegation's impression, has been that there is, to some extent, a lack of ambition in the way that they're approaching this problem. If you look at the sort of solutions we need to climate change right now, massive investment in a green new economy, in wind turbines, in warmer, safer homes, in more safe forms of energy production, all those sort of things. There's a real sort of inspiring project to be had there, moving out of the sort of dirty carbon technology that we're in at the moment and moving towards a more sort of positive place. And I haven't really noticed that politicians have really been engaging with that agenda yet, and I really think they have to. And the second thing that they need to do, from my perspective, is 350.org. Really, they need to be taking the science seriously. It's no longer good enough for them to base their understanding of this situation on out-of-date science. They really need to be looking at the sort of cuts that we need right now in carbon dioxide, and a deal that's based on anything else really isn't worth the paper it's written on.
So do you? I better go back to the questions because they're flooding in now. Ken, London, what are your positions on non-violent or even violent direct action?
Well, I think as Dan was saying, we've got a lot of work to be done, and that's what really 350 is laying out there, is that we need to be doing these ambitious targets. That for people here, it may be a matter of math, or science for some of the delegates, but for a lot of island countries and other people, it's a matter of survival. And when you're fighting for your survival, I think you have to look at a lot of different tactics. I would say that violent action is never a good idea. I think it only spirals into more violence and won't get us to the kind of community-based and collaborative solutions we need.
So not even a breaking window.
Not even a broken window. I think it gets us nowhere. But nonviolent direct action may have a place. I think that young people in the UK and in the United States, Australia, many other countries are really taking action and doing it in a smart and effective way by saying that, listen, we have to make a statement as youth. We have models in the past that we can look to. And when it comes to building new coal plants or expanding, airports and stuff like that, nonviolent direct action can be a really powerful and moral way to make a statement and to really affect policy in a really strategic way, I think.
Okay. Look, I mean, politicians all the way across the political agenda have been calling for more direct action and an upping of the game, really, by not only youth but civil society as a whole. So Al Gore, I'm wondering why there aren't more people chaining themselves to, coal machinery and that sort of thing. So I think that there is a place for it, and if you look back at every serious and progressive change in society when it comes to civil rights, it's had some element of direct action involved in it, absolutely.
Well, let me ask you a personal question. What do your friends think? Do they think, oh, nerdy, serious people, we don't go in clubbing with them? Or do you find there's a growing interest in this particular issue, genuine interest among people?
Well, I can't speak for Dan since he's the one wearing the suit, but I think maybe a couple of years ago that's what it was seen as. This is an issue for science geeks and all that, but I think it's become much more than that. I mean, people recognize that this is the most important issue and has the most potential for us to completely reshape society, not just around climate change, but around energy, around jobs, around how we base our communities. And, to be honest, it's a lot of fun. We're here with over 500 youth delegates. We're going out to party in Poznan afterwards. We're meeting in underground bars to discuss strategy, how we can push this forward. I mean, it really feels like something's happening. And so I'd encourage people to kind of get involved, get your friends involved, because there's incredible momentum right now. And it's really exciting.
Climate change is fun. There's a message that'll carry. Now, here's a question from a man in a suit, I think. Scuzzy... Jet City in Australia, but there's people from everywhere in Second Life. How much difference would moving to electric vehicles make?
I think it depends on the part of the world that you're talking about. The biggest thing that we can do when it comes to transport actually is a massive investment in public infrastructure. It's actually cheaper, it's much faster, and it's so much more energy efficient. And it also gives you the time to think so that you're not snarled up in traffic jams the whole time. So electric cars are definitely better than their petrol alternatives, but I think the real place we need to be looking at the moment is towards mass public infrastructure.
I've got another British question for you. Daniel Vockins of the UK Youth Delegation. Hi, it's been revealed that a major UK store chain sponsored Plain Stupid, who acted at Stansted. Any thoughts on this?
Which store chain? I haven't heard of this one.
Well, I don't know how. I don't know if we can name names. I don't know how official it is.
No way I could comment on that because I have no idea as to the background of that.
No, that's a very good suit answer, I think. Jeff in Minneapolis, have you seen any evidence at the conference or previous conferences that youth lobbying has secured political change?
Yeah, I'll go quickly, and I think I'll hand over to Daniel as well. I think absolutely. You can look as far back as the Rio Earth Summit in 1992, which really set off a lot of these environmental negotiations, and that summit was defined by young people. It was really a young person, Severin Suzuki, who's now grown up to do a lot of great activism, who made this impassioned speech talking about how as a young child she was so disheartened by what these political leaders were doing, just backstabbing each other and not making any progress. And it was a catalytic moment. It really redefined those negotiations, and that ran up until the present day. So the answer is yes, but we can always do more. We always need more pressure from the outside, and we always need to up our game. So we'll be doing our best, but we really need support, and there's plenty you can do from at home as well.
Shall I throw another one at you, Daniel Vockins? Can you talk about the carbon-negative biofuels systems that produce biochar for soil sequestration?
Very, very specific.
I'm not sure that Ivo de Boer would manage that one.
Well, I think that there's serious problems with monoculture biochar, in the same way that there are serious problems with monoculture biofuels, and in fact most biofuels in general that I've seen so far. And the real issue is that we need to be moving out of the sort of place where we're burning up massive amounts of fuels in these sort of technologies, and we should be moving towards lower carbon technologies just in general. Biofuels and, by extension, biochar are some of the leading causes of deforestation. A report came out of the World Bank that said that 70% of the food price rises that we've been seeing globally are a result of increased competition from biofuels and also biochar. So I think there are so many questions up for grabs about biofuels at the moment that really they are too dangerous to form any mainstay in what we're doing here in trying to deal with climate change. So we should stay very far away from them and instead look to the sort of technologies that are proven: wind technology, solar technology, and just more efficient ways of insulating things and of living.